So I said it at the top of our panels today, but probably not everyone was there, but this is actually quite different than some of the other reveals that we've done where we've actually had a polished demo, because that's all going to happen in March when we sort of show the actual planet side in operation, and we show the FPS module, which we're going to be releasing that and the planet side at the end of March, beginning of April. So it starts with V1.1. And then I guess this is what we're going to talk about, which is kind of like 1.1 will be the social module and also including the FPS stuff. But we talked about it, multiplayer hangers, the mobiGlas contact list, the in-game chat, the planet-side environment you can go around and explore, shopping. So we can't necessarily buy stuff yet. That would probably be the next major milestone on the planet-side stuff, but we'll basically go around shops, be able to do the mobiGlas, see stats, how much it costs, all the rest of the stuff, and then also we're sort of moving to a sort of SimPod motif, which is kind of similar to the old Wing Commander, where we used to have there was an arcade machine in the pilot's rec room in Wing Commander. Do we want to talk about that piece of art, Mark, maybe?
That is a jump point relay. So when you send things through a jump point, it has to go through this thing, and then basically what it does is it releases these pigeons that are like robotic. They're little robotic things that go through a jump point and come out the other side, and then there's another relay that grabs the pigeons from the other side and relays the message through a jump point. So that's what that thing is.
It's very cool, and that's Ted's work, right?
Yeah.
Ted's one of our very talented concept artists in Austin, and has done some pretty awesome stuff. We want to talk about this. This is the contact system. This is just sort of a UI markup, right?
Sure, yeah. So as mentioned in one of the panels earlier, basically in the short term, we're importing your contact list from the website. What we're going to wind up doing, probably the version after the social module, is we should actually have the full true friends, to where you extend an invitation to someone and they actually have to accept that, and then basically that binding link between you is established. And so the relevance of the contact list, if we go to the next slide, in regards to the social module, is that allows you, so this is a mock-up of actually being in your elevator, and what you're seeing down here at the bottom left are the destinations that you can go to.
What do you do on planet-side landing zones, Tony?
In the short term, you're going to do, I hesitate to say shopping, because it's really more, window shopping would be more accurate. That's exactly right. You'll be able to look, but you will not be able to buy. You'll be able to, so what this is basically showing you is a mock-up of the shopping interface.
An early mock-up of the interface.
Yeah. Okay, so we carry on to the next one.
And here's one of the first shops. This is the one where your Cubby Blast, you can buy all of your personal weapons, personal armor, grenades, ammunition, things of that sort.
So this is a early in-game prototype of mobiGlas stuff. And that's the mobiGlas going into the augmented reality mode. So you can turn your AR mode and sort of show you the indications of stuff. Yes, no, we are going to do the HoloLens. You're not necessarily going to do this anymore. We'll have a glass of contacts.
It's still in the mock-up.
And the concept with the mobiGlas is that there's going to be all these applications that can be loaded, and lots of the applications will be context sensitive. Some of the applications will be things that you would buy and enhance your mobiGlas. So you'd use things for shopping or navigation, or managing your friends, or talking about missions and stuff.
One other thing, I guess, to mention, since we will have a lot of the shops, is we will not have nearly as diverse a selection of things to browse in all the other shops, because there's a huge amount of props and stuff that need to be created for those. So we'll probably aim to have some representative.
This is the cool bit.
That's when you get stabbed.
It might be surprising depending on what you're browsing. Yeah, that was a third-person view.
I remember in the old days when people would just stare at their phones.
Yeah. That's that's an early prototype of the mobiGlas. I think we're actually talking about having a combination of an augmented reality that you either have with a contact lens or glasses you would wear, and then if you're scrolling or doing the equivalent of web browsing, that would be sort of projected here. So you don't always have to bring your arm up to see stuff, which is sort of what our kind of plan is.
This is the customs area that we talked about earlier that you have to pass through. Regardless of whether you land at a public landing zone or in your own private hangar, you eventually have to go through customs before you're let into the landing zone proper. And that's where, for example, they would refuse admittance if you had a weapon on you and you had done something that had caused your license to carry for some period of time to have been revoked, at which point you'd have to go back to your ship or your hangar, stow your weapon away, and then they would actually allow you to proceed. Yeah, this is basically, serves a couple different purposes. One is when you actually die, out, off-site or even in the town, this is basically where you would wind up, respawning. This is also where you can buy a variety of, items related to, healing, defibrillators, stimulant packs, bandages, that sort of thing.
This is an example of some of our early characters that have layer systems built into them. So the pants, for instance, you could take the pants off of this dude and put it on the vest. See the grading or yeah, but just the level of interactivity, that we want to achieve. We're starting down that path and starting to build characters with that in mind, the granny and the river.
Astro Prana.
This is Astro Marta. It's a high-end ship dealer. I think this particular one is on Terra. But this is kind of like your kind of Porsche dealership, although they do sell a variety of different of ships, not just one specific type. But that's kind of again, once you go across the galaxy, you're not going to see just one kind of shop per se. You'll see a lot of different kinds of shops that sell ships per se, but there'll be different levels of quality, in the shops. That one just happens to be a more high-end one.
If we go, we can show kind of what it's going to look like.
Don't screw it.
Let's see it again. The other side now. Yeah. And you'll see how the different vortexes warp in as you're going around. So those will all be things you'll have to avoid as you're flying through in the jump point.
So clearly Crash Roberts wasn't flying this.
He was not, no. Someone has to be good. Or actually paying attention to what he's flying instead of trying to talk to the audience. So you want to talk about the various places we're going to be going in the early alpha of the Persistent Universe? So yeah. This is Nyx. Tell everyone about Nyx.
Mark can talk about all the artistic aspects, but basically Nyx is a more lightly regulated planet to where you would more likely be able to sell some of those goods that you've stolen. The entire establishment exists within a large crater on an asteroid, and so I don't want to step on your feet in regards to explaining the overall architecture.
It's basically a huge excavated crater, and around the edges they
wasn't it originally a mining colony? And
yes, it was. It was originally a mining colony, and they had all these machines set up, and they've been pulling stuff out of it for a while, and it kind of dried up. So they left it, and squatters came in, political activists and pirates kind of took it over and kind of made it their own and set up shop there. There's a lot of kind of like around the lip of this big crater is a lot of like blown out areas where they've kind of built in you know, various shops and things like that.
So we're basically out of time. I'd like to thank everybody again for coming out. Especially want a big thank you for Chris Roberts for coming out to spend some time talking with us. Also to Tony Zerbeck for very in-depth information.